This is Dim Pool over here. Let's see how he does. He covers for Pam Bondi. Do you think it'll be she's incompetent? Maybe she's hiding something. And by the way, thank you, Buddha Eagle, for the super chat earlier today. I hope we answered your question when we were talking about it. But as far as Trump being a Russian asset, I genuinely think, yes, that's true. But this is also, the blow up today was really to cover this news story, which is way worse with maggots. Like, the Zelensky story is big with people we don't like, but and his side cheerleads it. If you look at Shitter right now, all the right wingers are going, finally, somebody's throwing this in Zelensky's face. The anti-Semitism is flying fast and furious over there. Meanwhile, our side is very upset of how he was treated. And that's the kind of news fluff they need to cover for something like this. Because while none of us are surprised by Trump's relationship with Epstein and his own behavior outside of that is disgusting enough for us to write him off as a human being, the right doesn't feel that way. They are, I don't know why, but they are in some deluded fashion expecting truth and reconciliation under Trump and the Epstein world. And it ain't happening. And they're like, why could that be?
This is step one. It is.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to click onto this guy.
Phase 1 of the Epstein files.
Okay, so he's calling it phase 1 as well. So this is part of the talking point they're getting. And Greg, of course, fucked it up. Greg Kelly fucked it up by calling it the first chunk.
Have been released to a handful of prominent personalities. Many have already been discussing the issue. In this image, we can see Haya Rychik, Libs of TikTok, DC Drano, Liz Wheeler, Mike Cernovich, and there are others. Jack Posobiec, I believe, has been talking about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it. I believe the FBI has gone rogue.
Yeah, the whole FBI, everybody. Yeah, we gotta stop going after serial killers and gun runners and drug dealers and child pornographers and all that kind of stuff. The FBI cannot be trusted because Kash Patel, as he's running it at the top, can't get access to files that Pam Bondi told everyone she already had.
We have been provided a letter from an unnamed source.
Well, that's legit. That's all I need to know. You guys need any more chat room? You guys need any more reassurance that it's totally legit?
And it appears that
I'm guessing that's going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Elements of the federal government are intentionally hiding the Epstein documents.
Let's see. Chat room. Elements. Can you think of any elements of the federal government that might be intentionally hiding the elements, intentionally hiding elements of the Epstein files? Is there anybody that would be in a power position in the federal government that might be against, say, the Epstein files getting out? Can anybody think of anybody in a position of power that might go, it wouldn't be good for me if people realized how close they'd been to Jeffrey Epstein and for how long? Anybody? That's nobody. I can't. I'm racking my brain. I can't. I can't think of a reason. Can you? Hold on. Whoop. Push the wrong button.
Prevent them from being released.
Why would that be? Why would somebody in the government want to prevent those files from being released? I wish someone knew.
This is a degree of shocking
that no one feels. Who the fuck is shocked? Dude, why would anybody be shocked that not only did Epstein get arrested and die or disappear or break out or be replaced by a corpse that vaguely looks like him or escape or whatever he did, with the cameras off and the guards asleep and all that kind of stuff while Trump's in office, and foof, and magically the files that he had the compromise on everybody just magically vanishes at the exact same time. And then the actual records that we're seeing released were actually released under the Biden administration. And when Trump gets back into office, it's a bunch of like, well, I think I might release some of it, but there's a lot of phony stuff in there. I probably wouldn't. JFK and MLK, yeah, totally. But I mean, there's a lot of phony stuff. You don't want people to be upset by what's released about them, and that wouldn't be good. I would feel like that wouldn't be good. Shocked. Get the fuck out of here.
Cannot begin to describe. I'm not going to bury the lead or wait. I've got it right here. This letter, again, provided to me from an unnamed source. Office of the Attorney General, Washington, D.C., 20530, February 27th, 2025. Let me read you this shocking letter.
I don't know that it's shocking. I think what is it shocking that it wasn't complied with from Kash Patel as soon as he got in? So he's part of it. The other part, I guess, would be, like, why wouldn't he be on top of that? Maybe because he doesn't respect or listen to Pam Bondi. Also, Pam Bondi, this is not her only way of getting this material. She can contact the offices that are engaged with it directly. I'm not shocked at all. No one's shocked. No one.
That reads, Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of document.
Really? There's like 300 pages available online already.
Which consisted primarily of flight logs,
which are also already available.
List of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers.
Yeah, the Epstein Black Book, which was also, there's two versions of it. Both were already available. One, a person found on the street, which is kind of fucking amazing. Like, that whole backstory is nuts.
Repeatedly requested, I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files.
Yeah, but that's not what you told people was coming out anyways. You can't even blame it on this lack of files. She didn't say, this is all I have, and it's, and it's shit you've already seen before. She said she convinced everybody this was all new, that this stuff was going to come out and they were going to be blown away by it. She lied. She lied. They tried to, like, gutter swap this shit from the stuff that's already on the internet and put out a quote unquote official version of it that's barely legible. That's what this is for. Take the documents that are out there that clearly show Donald Trump's name on the flight logs, release a shit copy of the flight logs where you can barely make out any of the names at all, and release that instead so that the news will reference this. And when they show it on TV, people will go, I can barely see the names, and lose interest.
When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was.
This doesn't sound like a cover your ass letter at all.
Learn this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio and video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained.
Okay, so basically you're just trying to help Ghislaine Maxwell avoid prison, and then if you obtain it and you find out that, fruit of the poison tree or a poorly worded warrant or something like that, once Trump is busted, he can use that as an excuse to get out from under it. I see. So you're basically creating a mixture of plausible deniability and get out of jail free card by demanding a lowered standard of how evidence ends up in your possession, so that if Trump is on the hook for it, which he clearly is, his lawyers can claim there's no chain of evidence. P.S. Where's Hunter Biden's laptop? Anybody? Who has it? Who has it this week? Somebody's got to have the Hunter Biden laptop available to him. And thank you, Jen. And thank you, Rocky Mountain Mike. Bless you for that. For the super chats, you guys. All right, and I don't know why my maybe if I close this and reopen it. The comments and reactions. There we go. For some reason, it wouldn't start up again. Like, it's a weird thing with this. Occasionally, the comments don't show. Maybe I have to close this part. Oh, maybe it's also. Am I in preview mode? I'm not. Am I? Okay, good. I'm all right.
There will be no withholdings or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims and in accordance with the law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor.
Let me guess. Trump wrote an executive order that he didn't tout that said, "It's now I now consider it the law that anything that mentions me in the Epstein files is has to be officially redacted." And so when she says she's following the law, she would be following that executive order. Or maybe there was a spoken executive order. The president has decided to come up with a whole new category. If he just tells you it's basically an executive order, since he's the executive and it's an order.
I am also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed.
Could it be that there are two people in extreme positions of power in the United States that are both implicated in it repeatedly that might have something to do with that? Maybe there was a phone call that from someone above you with higher clearance and that had more control and actually could issue an order that would hold it back. Maybe. I don't know who. Can anybody think of somebody that it might be?
You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days.
Yeah, you got 2 weeks. Right. This is due immediately after Trump's concepts of a plan for health care.
I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency.
Yeah.
American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country.
Well, I mean, Musk is implicated in him too. He's friends with Ghislaine, and his brother dated one of the girls that and was in a relationship with one of the girls who was kept at the basically the underage sex slave farm that Epstein operated up in Manhattan. Again, Epstein's house is, for whatever reason, always less than a 9-minute cab ride from Donald Trump their entire time in New York and in West Palm Beach. Weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me.
You're not excused. I can't think of a reason to excuse you. I'll work on it, but I can't come up with one. I don't know why you would think anybody would be outraged by this. I would also like to point out that wherever he's reading this article from is from Rumble. Somebody else's site on Rumble, so I borrowed it from there.
I cannot say it any more clearly. I see this, and my immediate reaction is there are rogue criminal elements in the FBI acting outside the structure of our government.
Why, if it's outside the structure of the government, it would not be involving a case that implicates the president?
That is it. We have elected a president. He has appointed. He has gotten them confirmed, his cabinet members. They have given lawful orders to our law enforcement federal apparatus.
Right. And could it be, I'm just floating this here, there's a possibility, that he himself has called those people and overridden the lawful orders by his cabinet officials as president because they work under him. He calls the FBI and says, don't you dare, but you can't tell anybody. Just hide it. And you don't have it. Just pretend you don't have it. And he doesn't tell Pam Bondi because he gives her plausible deniability. He doesn't tell Kash Patel because he doesn't have to. And he calls the people who might have those records and go, don't release those records. It's in national security. That's easy, right? That's within the structure of the government you voted for, dum-dum.
They have denied the Attorney General of these United States access to information pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein and his criminal enterprise.
Yeah, and I think the obvious reason would be because they obviously are Trump sycophants, right? There's no reason we would think they would not do it. There's no reason Kash Patel would not do something Trump wants them to do. There's no reason Pam Bondi would not do something Trump wants them to do. So clearly, Trump doesn't want them to do it.
The question is why?
Because Trump is all over the files?
This letter says to me so much.
So much. So much.
That it doesn't need to happen.
The letter doesn't need to happen?
It says, Dear Director Patel.
Yeah, you read it already.
Stress this. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents.
By the FBI who? You reached out to Kash Patel, right? And he lied to your face, I guess?
She says they learned later that the field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages and they never disclosed them. And she is saying, I want an investigation as to why they did not.
Bam! Boom! I have an idea, because Trump was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, and they were thick as thieves, and they were both engaged in disgusting behavior together, and there's plenty of evidence, including recordings of Trump and his buddies hanging out with them, and Trump's, sees that stuff, that information, had it moved to a special wing or put in a skiff so he could hide it from everybody else. I mean, I'm just saying, I look forward to whatever Kash Patel, whatever bone he throws her. But let me tell you, that stuff's going to be heavily redacted too. And wherever Trump's name shows up, and okay, let's go. Let's see. Okay. It's Jay-Z. This would be the National Review case. This is okay. Yeah, here you go. This would be as if Donald Trump didn't have enough legal problems. This is in 2016. And bad juju. Now he has another headache to deal with. A lawsuit filed yesterday in federal court in New York accusing him, along with billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, of raping a 13-year-old girl in 1994 at a party at Epstein's place. The allegations are quite lurid, reek of a similar underage sex slavery charges made against Epstein. The lawsuit itself is not likely to go very far. It appears to be a rehash of a suit previously dismissed in California. The statute of limitations has long since run out, which, that's what innocent people always attach to. Requiring the Jane Doe plaintiff to offer creative arguments for why she should be able to bring this up now. There ended up being a change in the law that allowed survivors to go back, have another bite at the apple, largely related to this stuff. That said, there's no statute of limitation on politics. Is there anything to this? We know on one hand that nasty truths come out about political figures. As a thrice married, admitted adulterer, Trump's history does inspire a lot of confidence there, from bragging about betting married women to his comments to Howard Stern about watching Paris Hilton's sex tape, to his weird habit of commenting on the sex appeal of his own daughter, to embracing convicted rapist Mike Tyson, to defending Bill Clinton himself and his sex scandals in the 90s, just to pick a few examples. We know, on the other hand, that bogus sex scandals follow just everyone who makes it to the national level in politics. Offhand, I believe Mitt Romney may have been the only major party nominee in the past 25 years who never had anybody in the press try to shop a sex scandal story. Voters might mostly gave the benefit of the doubt to Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio when flimsy sex stories were run against them in the primaries. I mean, I don't remember George W. Bush or H.W. Bush or Reagan and whatever, okay, or Obama for that matter. Trump's statement at the time about the original was a blanket denial, which extended as far as questioning whether the plaintiff even existed. The allegations are not only categorically false, but disgusting at the highest level and clearly framed to solicit media attention, or perhaps are simply politically motivated. There's absolutely no merit to these allegations, period. So whether you, and I love how the National Review puts Clinton's name in this, because Jeffrey Epstein is apparently, that's who they mean by billionaire sex buddy. He was way closer to Donald Trump. Way closer. They hung out all the time. They were very close. So I don't know why it wouldn't be. Is there anything in the lawsuit accusing Donald Trump of raping a 13-year-old girl with his billionaire sex buddy, Jeffrey Epstein? Right? They threw Bill Clinton's name in there to run interference against Donald Trump. And again, if both guys were involved in it, I don't give a shit. Go away. If Bill Clinton was engaged in that kind of behavior, fuck him. Who cares? Nobody cares. Go. It's gross. It's disgusting. My values don't change just because somebody pretended to have them. This is dumb. So this in particular, like, this is in those files. This stuff is in those files. The stuff that's going to come across Pam Bondi's desk is going to have a copy of this lawsuit. Let's see if they bring up the actual. Yeah, Jane Doe files civil rape complaint against Trump in New York court. Look at that, and they put it behind a paywall. Way to run interference, guys. So that's why. That's, you know, and again, do you think when they get those files, and that will be included in them, that Pam Bondi will release that stuff publicly from an official federal government account, from the justice.gov website? Do you think they're going to put that lawsuit in with that, all of it? She asked for all of it. Tim Drool over here read the whole fucking thing. Everything you've got. I don't care where you got it from. Well, guess what?
This is the FBI field office in New York. This is, I believe. Let me pull this up. I want to make sure I'm getting the location right. FBI field office, New York. I believe.
Yes, that's where SDNY is, Southern District of New York. Has to be the Southern District of the New York State, and Manhattan being in the Southern District.
That's in Manhattan.
Yeah, it is. We know where Trump lived and committed most of these crimes.
They have numerous field offices in New York. This is, let's see, the FBI building. I'm pretty sure it's New York.
Really? What is your first clue? The part where she asks in the document, it says New York? I think it's the part where it says FBI field office in New York. Is that all right? Come on. Are we watching this young man learn to read on television? It's very inspiring.
It is. This is the Southern District of New York.
Yes, it is. That's right. Which I believe is in New York, if I'm not mistaken. This in the southern part of New York compared to other parts that are more northern, it would seem.
I don't know how much this overlaps.
With what? The rest of New York?
But these are the same. This is New York. This is where Donald Trump
lived. A 9-minute cab ride from Jeffrey Epstein's building that Epstein was given to by Les Wexler or whatever his name was for $1, a $70 million home that he got for $1. Across the street from a place where he kept these underage girls in New York City that were foreign. He kept their passports so they couldn't escape, where Kimball Musk met his girlfriend. I'm fairly certain that was the neighborhood.
Falsely convicted, falsely accused of what was it, civil fraud by the state.
No, he was actually convicted by a jury.
Same place that went after James O'Keefe. This is...
And won.
Insane.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, it's insane that you seem to think that Donald Trump being president would result in more transparency about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, not less.
I have no words.
Thank God. You know what? Let's just call it a day, shall we?